It is Sunday, March 14th, 2021. Welcome into the Early Edge, powered as always by Sportsline, and it's a special, special day. It is Selection Sunday. We have arrived, and we could not be more excited. Now, we had good news and bad news on Saturday. The bad news is we had a lot of bad beats in college basketball. The good news is, if you played with us, if you rolled with us, we had two huge futures that hit. Georgia Tech at minimum plus 700 to win the ACC tournament. And also North Texas Zack Attack gave you plus 250 to win their tournament as well. And they came through in overtime. So all in all, it was a profitable day, just a hard way to get there. Let's bring in our cappers right now because I know they're excited to get to this day. We've got a lot in store over the course of the next 3 weeks, boys. But let's say good morning first. M Squared, how are you?
Good morning, Coach. Ready for this Sunday fun day. As you mentioned, Selection Sunday. We've got NASCAR, college basketball, a little bit of golf, and, of course, the NBA. Very, very excited for this Sunday fun day here.
Don't you ever say just a little bit of golf. That's a major sport for us here at the Early Edge. Oh, the maestro. He's got that look in his eye. Good morning, Larry.
Coach, I think it's the haircut. I'm lean and mean. I'm ready to go. And it was just so nice to get some tweets last night from people that got Tech at 20-1, 25-1. I love seeing that. And, I used to cover the team, so it was really fun to see what they did last night.
It's really a microcosm of why we love doing this, is what you went through last night, which was fantastic to see. All right, really quick, we can tell you that you can create a pool to compete against friends or just fill out your bracket for the chance to win a Nissan Rogue and a trip to the 2022 Final Four. You can play on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/brackets. Join our podcast group, Chiefs Bracket Challenge. We've got a link right in the description for you. I dare you to come and try to beat M Squared or the Maestro or myself. Bring it. Okay, it is time for storylines that could affect the betting lines today. M Squared, you are up first.
All right, Coach, we got a busy day in the NBA, starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Al Horford is doubtful. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Svi Mykhailiuk, who they just traded for, Darius Blazley, all questionable for this game today against the Memphis Grizzlies. For the San Antonio Spurs and Philadelphia 76ers, we know Joel Embiid suffered that knee injury. Fortunately, it didn't seem to be too long-term serious, but he's going to be out for a little while Ben Simmons is scheduled to return from the health and safety protocols today. For the San Antonio Spurs, they're going to be without DeMar DeRozan. We already know Aldridge is done playing for them now. So a couple key pieces out for the Spurs there. For Miami, Orlando, another game with a lot of injury news. Bam Adebayo is going to miss this game for Miami, but Orlando has even bigger trouble with James Ennis, Aaron Gordon, Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier all ruled out, and Terrence Ross questionable in this game. For the Houston Rockets, John Wall, Christian Wood, Daniel House, Eric Gordon all out. Victor Oladipo upgraded to probable and should play. And then, of course, the Toronto Raptors still dealing with the health and safety protocols. Siakam, Van Fleet, Anunoby, McCaw, and Malachi Flynn are all doubtful to play tonight against the Bulls.
We cannot emphasize enough how important it is to listen to Mikey every single day. If you watched the Thunder last night, Alexander didn't play, and they got blown out. It matters who plays in the NBA. All right, Maestro, I know that you are going to the college hardwood. What do you got today?
Well, it's a real interesting matchup with the SEC title game, LSU and Alabama. You know, if you had to make a case which team is in better form, you might say LSU. I mean, that win over Arkansas was so impressive. But then you look at and Alabama not shooting the ball all that great in this SEC tournament, and they're missing Primo, the freshman, who shoots 39% from three. He's not going to play today. But you look at the matchups, they destroyed LSU by 30 and by 18. So which do you favor more, the current form, or is it a matchup issue? Well, the money so far is coming in on Bama. This line 5.5 now up to 6.5, some places 7. And I know we have a pick on this later in the show.
Yeah, it does. And it's also something I wanted to hit on because we always here at the show try to educate and also entertain. We've been getting a lot of tweets asking us why sometimes the capper's pick on a game is different than what the simulation says on a game. And we just want to be very clear that we simulate every single game 10,000 times. But when a capper picks a game, he puts his opinion on the game at Sportsline. So sometimes it's not going to match completely up with the simulation, but that's what it is. Sorry for any confusion. Okay, it is now time for the Sportsline plays of the day. And these two, we're going to stay in college hoops. We're going to start with the Patriot League title game. Colgate, they've been on fire, giving 9.5 over Loyola of Maryland. Now, they scored 105 points setting a tournament record in their last game. They're averaging 91 points a game in this tournament. They've been winning by 19 points a game, lay the 9.5. Then the other one, the game that Maestro just talked about, LSU getting 5.5 against Alabama. They've been playing great. Alabama barely snuck by Tennessee after trailing by 17 or 18 points on Saturday. They are struggling right now. Take LSU, take the points. They score a lot as well. Okay, it's time for our board. M squared, you know the drill. Give it to me.
All right, Coach, it's the A10 final, and you know we're going back to the Bonnies. I love St. Bonaventure here. You can get them -2.5, -3 most places in the market. My simulations make them -4.1 here against VCU. The thing about the Bonnies is they love to play slow. They're going to grind out the half-court game. They're the more disciplined team. They're the better team in simply every metric across the board. This could be a 1 to 2 possession game late, but we love this number here at -2.5, -3. I do expect them to remain in control, shoot a few free throws at the end, and cover the spread. I like this one quite a bit. And then in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers, you need to grab this as soon as you possibly can. I locked it in at -2.5, and in the time that I've locked it in since we got to the show, it's up to 3.5, approaching 4. I think it was a really, really, really mispriced line here. So I make this game -5.8, a massive overreaction to Joel Embiid being out. The issue is San Antonio is a little bit of a mess now. DeMar DeRozan's not going to play. There's going to be a lot of emotions flowing here. Ben Simmons is back for the Philadelphia 76ers. I do expect them to go in and have this win here to kind of really boost the team after losing Joel Embiid for a little bit. So give me this one. I play it all the way up to -4.5, -5. But lock it in now. Get the best price you can. And then in NASCAR, we're headed out to Phoenix. I love Kevin Harvick, +120 against Brad Keselowski. This is a track that Harvick has absolutely dominated in his career. Even recently, too. So he had a massive stretch back in 2015, 2016, where he won 6 straight races or 5 of 6 races at this track. Even recently, since 2018, they've raced here 6 times. He has a top 10 finish in all 6 of those events and a win here at this track. I like him a lot, getting plus money. I actually make him the number 1 racer in my simulations today, so he's winning the most simulations. At +120, I think it's a really strong play.
Anytime I can get Kevin Harvick on any track at plus money, I'm going to take it. Real quick, let me ask you this, because it's a perfect situation for the question I always have. When you have a game, and you just described it as the first one, the Bonaventure game, where it could be a 1 or 2 possession game. Sometimes I like to lay the money line, and in a 2 or 3 point game, it could be 50 or 60. Is the juice worth the squeeze to maybe play them on the money line today? Then I have to worry about those 2.5 or 3.
It could be. I haven't seen the money line as much across the market. It's typically a spot where I personally would end up playing the spread. But it really is just going to depend on that. I think that another thing that I would consider doing, if you're someone who likes to play the money line there, I would actually consider live betting them if you can. Potentially, if you look for a spot where they're down 5 in the first 6 minutes of the game, down 7, 6 minutes into the game, you're going to lose that juice just a little bit. It'll come a little bit closer to even money. So that's personally what I would do. I personally would still lay the points. But as far as whether it's worth it or not, it really just comes down to the math of it for me.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. All right, Maestro, the floor is yours.
Okay, start off with one game in the NBA, and you talked about the Orlando Magic. They're missing 5 of their top 6 scores, and Vucevic basically said, we have guys playing out of position. They just got blown out. The Heat come in. They've won 9 out of 10, covered 8 of those. They've covered 5 straight on the road. No Bam Adebayo, but it doesn't matter. They're just a much better team. I'm going to lay the points with the Heat. And then in college basketball, this is Illinois, Ohio State is going to be fascinating to watch. Ohio State coming off a win over Michigan, 3 relatively tight games in 3 days. They could be running out of gas here. I don't know if Kyle Young is going to play. I don't think he's going to play. And Illinois, I mean, it's just the eye test. Look at Coburn, what he did yesterday. He doesn't really belong in college anymore, I don't think. I mean, this guy, I cannot wait to see him at the next level. But you look at the last time they played. Ohio State had the spot. They were at home. They were desperate off a loss. Illinois had just beaten Michigan, had less rest, came into Ohio State and won that game by 5. And here I laid 5.5. It's up to 6 now. They also have a freshman who's really turned it on, averaging 14.5 points a game, Curbelo. So it's not just the big two of Ayo and Coburn. They're deeper than that. I love Illinois today.
Wow, 11-3 against the spread in their past 14 games. They are really starting to play well. Real quick, before we get to the recap, I almost wore a little bonus pick for you today, a Fade Doug Gim shirt today. Whatever your book has, whoever they had him head up against, most of the time it's Lee Westwood. Take Lee Westwood today. Fade Doug Gim every play that you have. Trust me on that. Okay, here we go. We're up against it. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is our recap. M squared is on the Bonnies, -2.5 over VCU. That's a 1 Eastern tip. Sixers, that's been hovering now, -3.5. Get on it because it's only going up away from us. And then in NASCAR in Phoenix, he likes Harvick over Keselowski. You're getting plus money, +120. Now, the Maestro is on Illinois, -6 over Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. The Heat giving 7.5 over Orlando, or basically a glorified G League team at this point. And then our sports line plays of the day, Colgate -9.5 over Loyola of Maryland, and LSU now at +6.5 against Alabama. Fade Doug Gim. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all these tickets. It's Selection Sunday. The next 3 weeks are the best 3 weeks in all of sports. Let's take all these tickets straight to the pay window. For M Squared, for the Maestro, and for the jeweler, I am the coach. Let's go. This is the only place for your daily early edge. Good luck.